To present the next keynote presentation, we have Mr. Shalibhadra Shah, the founder and CEO of ABC Talkies. And the topic is going to be the future of content and consumption. Join me in welcoming Mr. Shah. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Shah. Lovely to have you as always.
Lovely to be here, Walter.
Awesome, sir. Please take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me just start by sharing my presentation and we can start the discussion. I hope it's visible to all of you.
Yes, okay. It's perfectly working. Thank you.
So good evening. Nice to have every one of you here, and I'm sure it's been quite an exciting day for you all in the OTT world. So today, I think the topic that has been given to me, the future of content consumption. I'm sure it's of excitement to all of you. Let me start by talking about content itself. So when we talk about content, it could be multiple things. It could be text, it could be video, it could be visuals, everything. And if I were to talk on each of this category and subcategory and all, it's going to take the entire day to do so. So what I'm going to do is I am going to restrict this session and dwell upon a particular format that has literally transformed the way people are consuming content, and that is video format, right? Today, so video has become inevitable, whether it's education or technology or anything that you want to communicate. Video format has probably taken over all other formats, and that is very evident from the fact that every social media platform has been forced to adopt video as its service. Instagram has come up with Reels, Facebook came up with Rooms, and the whole list goes on and on and on. So, but in order to understand, the consumption or what's going to be the future of consumption, it's very important that we dwell a bit into the history about how the content consumption has changed over a period of time. And let me just take that. I think I have jumped a few slides. So let me talk about the evolution of content consumption to start with. So we started with early black and white movies. That's where a lot of you saw. And over a period of time, we had sound along with it, and then we had the color which came in, the sound sync came in. Some technology evolved into, I think a lot of you will remember, something like Eastman color became the talking point. That's when the cinemas also started coming in, film viewing experience started picking up. Gradually, I think everybody knows, a lot of you might have been exposed to VHS and LP disc, something which came and went without a lot of them noticing it. CDs came around, stayed for reasonably long, followed by DVD and Blu-ray. And then came the digital content era, which almost started transforming everything that we do today and what we are doing right now. And then cloud streaming and the advent of OTT. And OTT is what we have been discussing all along for the day. So what has driven this video consumption technology or the volumes or anything? A very important point that I would like to emphasize here is the cost of producing video, which has come down, I would say, exponentially and substantially. Today, anybody with a good mobile phone can afford to produce a video and post it online, and that's how the entire content consumption market is exploding. A very important point that one could note is, in between 2016 to 2021, the amount of increase or the demand in content creators has been almost 480%. Now that's something which one needs to take note of. a 480% increase in demand of content creators. And the second is the amount of time people have started spending online. If you look at it, on an average, people aged between 16 to 24 spend almost 6 hours and 58 minutes online, which can be on various other parameters, which you could see over here, whether it's watching television or films on the internet, whether it's social media usage, whether it's time spending, reading news or something, or listening to music, or listening to radio or podcasts, or playing video games or gaming consoles or something. But all said and done, this is mostly the online or digital time that kids between 16 to 24 are spending online. And this is a very important factor that one we will come back to when we talk about the future of content consumption. Right? Now, from talking about content consumption in the OTT space, there has been an explosion both in terms of consumers and content providers. Today in India, there are almost about 100 OTT platforms, and the new ones are mushrooming fast and thick. Now, from a consumer perspective, if you look at the trends, what the noise is all about, and what the consumption pattern people are talking about, it's mostly restricted to the quality of content, the format, the personalization, and all those things. The other points that they are discussing is stickiness of the content and the amount of time that users will spend online on their platform. That's more or less what consumption patterns are trying to be, what platforms are looking to define their consumption pattern or increase their consumption pattern or something. But that's not really the future of content consumption. That's not how people are going to consume content. A lot of platforms are talking AVOD, SVOD, TVOD, and the hybrid. And these are like the hot topics. Every day you would read in the news that so and so platform is, VOD, and they are thinking about going to TVOD, which is fair and fine given the current developments and the amount of content that is coming in and the demand and supply that is happening. And mainly, if you look at it, most of the platforms are investing huge sums in increasing the user experience, the quality. They are trying to create a niche for themselves in a particular genre. Like Hotstar would try to create a niche with their Disney Plus collection and their sports streaming. Netflix or with all Hollywood releases and their own originals is where they're trying. Prime again is trying to just create a huge library along regional content, and then the regional players who are coming in with their own USPs. So that's mainly. But however, if you are looking to understand the future of consumption, you have to think completely different. There is nothing nearer today to what the future will be like. You need to think wider. You need to think. I would say wide rather. And why I say so, if you think in the present scenario, then you will probably end up with something like this. This is a very famous quote by Thomas Watson, president of IBM in 1943. He said, "I think there is a world market for maybe just 5 computers." I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain this slide any further. Today, everybody and anybody who's watching this and maybe around you has a computer that's millions of times more powerful than this one in your pocket. Just for the perspective, let's compare what we are talking about and what transformation can and why it is important. So in 1975, Cray 1 was the first real supercomputer. There were supercomputers before this, but let's take this as the real supercomputer. Now, just simply compare it with the latest iPhone that has been released with the A14 Bionic chip. The supercomputer back then ran at 80 megahertz. The one today runs at 3100 megahertz. Now, just imagine the amount of processing power change that has happened. While it had just about 8 MB of RAM, today's iPhone has almost 6 GB of RAM. Now 8 MB and 6 GB is something that should be noticed over here. And 303 MB of storage, we are talking about 1 TB of storage over here. And if you look at the simple computing power, the supercomputer back then could do almost 160 million operations per second, while the neural engine of today's iPhone could do 11 trillion operations per second. Now, in terms of the cost, this is something very interesting. Back then, it was $7.9 billion. In today's value, it's almost $35 million. Whereas your iPhone today, which is a million times more powerful than that, is going to cost you just under $3,000. So my point here is, if you were to think about the future of content consumption, you just can't think in the present times. You should be thinking much beyond. You should be thinking beyond what is evident and what is visible to you as of now, right? So we should think about the speed of technology, how it is changing. So today, if you have 5G network, tomorrow you're going to have 7G and you're going to have 8G. And if you don't think about it, then it's very difficult to say, what future of content consumption is going to be. And I'm going to focus on, or I'm going to try and throw some light around today on this very topic in terms of where the future of content consumption is going to be like, and what technology-driven things or what experiences you're going to get around it. So when I talk about experiences today, if you're watching a film, what are you doing? In all senses, you're basically listening to the sound that's coming out of it, the music, the sound effects, and the visuals that are there. I mean, that's the end of it, right? To an extent, a little more interactivity or something has been talked about. Netflix has been experimenting, some others have been experimenting, but that's about the only thing that's happening with films right now. Now, if you talk about future of content consumption, you need to be thinking much beyond that, and especially with the film content. So here are some things that one can expect in the future. A lot of it is being talked about now, but there are certain things which will definitely be different than what simply words can mean. So interactivity, you already have had a few examples coming up, but this is going to transform in a very, very large way. Immersive, everybody is kicked about metaverse or something, but imagine yourself featuring yourself in the film. This, given the technological advancements and the processing power, and especially when we're talking quantum computing coming in, where you just have devices which show the visual, the entire computing happens at some other place. So you could possibly end up seeing yourself in the film. You could possibly, replace a character in the film by yourself. The technology will all allow you to do that. Today, you're probably the most online tools or apps allow you to do a lot of things where you animate your entire background or you replace your face. Now imagine the same thing happening in films. So tomorrow you have a film and you want to play a lead role in it, you could possibly replace the character. You might pay small price for it. You could have your own customized film, put it out to your own customized group of audience. That's something which is a very possible futuristic thing to think about. Personalization, watch party. This is something you might say is happening today, but then look at it from a future perspective. The big influencers or someone are going to be the people who will be hosting content parties. And you have to, be a member of that party to watch exclusive content coming in, which is curated and produced and not seen anywhere before. So those kind of personalization, e-commerce and films, they are going to marry each other. So you will not be going out anywhere. You like something, you have it for yourself. Gaming, everybody has been doing gaming, but now imagine watching film and gaming together. So that's something which is soon going to become a reality. And user creator. So when I say user, is the viewer that I'm referring to. There will be a point of time where the viewer himself will become the creator of the product. So the difference between a viewer and a creator is going to thin out. It's not going to be that, so and so producer is the only best producer in the world, or his films are the best. Probably people will start producing entire films where the viewers themselves are the creators. You will actually drive the entire creation of the film. So that's something which will start driving the production of content to a different level altogether. But having put all these experiences together, these are independent of their own. What actually will change, when I said you need to think wide, you need to think why it will change is also very important. It's not that, something will come and it will change, but why it will change. And there are some factors that one should remember is what are the other things beyond when we talk about content consumption, but what are the other things that are happening around this? Today, people are talking about privacy. Today, people are talking about their health. More and more people are becoming health conscious. There's something called, I don't have the right word for it, but it's called a digital detox that people are looking at, where they simply want to switch off all their digital devices for particular hours of the day. And going by the current trends and the health complications that are creeping into youngsters, there will be a lot of factors which have to be taken into consideration when you look at the future of content, how it's going to be consumed and what is going to happen with it. So when I say so, what is the transformation that's going to happen? What is the complete makeover of content consumption, or the change in definition that's going to happen? Is the convergence of all the experiences into a single format. So imagine, you are watching a film and you're doing everything at the very same time. You will have your interactive experience. It will be immersive. It will be gamified. You will probably have your e-commerce in that, and it will still be personalized for you. And in certain cases, you will also be the creator of it, right? So all this is happening while you're just watching one film of, maybe, let's say you want to do a 40-minute film, or you want to do a 2.5-hour film, or a 3-hour film. Now, when you complete that 3 hours, you're probably done with your daily interactive experiences that you wanted to do, or you wanted to have an immersive experience. You've already done that. You wanted to do shopping. You've already done that. You wanted to, find out some content and interesting thing. You would have already done that. So within 3 hours, you have been able to complete your entire daily online, which would have lasted, say, about 6 or 7 hours otherwise, because you would be watching the film separately, you would be going and playing a game separately, or you would be putting on your headset and looking at some other content or experiencing some gaming experience at a different time, and all put together, it would have been about 8 to 9 hours of digital time that you would be spending, which is now compacted into just about, say, 3 hours. So that's something which is completely going to change the way things are going to be consumed tomorrow, and especially films. Today, as I said earlier, the films are only limited to being watched and listened. And so you watch visuals and listen to the sound. That's about it. Tomorrow you will do so much more with the films. You will actually engage with every film, every video content that you're seeing, and that's a reality which I can say will come sooner than expected, because you might say that all this put together will take another 10 years. you could possibly expect this in another maybe 3 years or maybe 2 years, as soon as that. But that's something you need to start thinking about, and you need to start expecting, because it's going to come. That's where I think the future of content consumption is driving or headed to, basically. I think that's something I would like to take a lot of questions, because I think put in a lot of excitement around the thing. Walter, you want to have you any questions or something come up for the discussion? Are you there, Walter?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm sorry. I was I was talking to you without turning on my
Oh, okay.
We do have a question for you.
Yeah.
From Nita Pujari. The question is, what do you think Hotstar is lacking that is still unable to scale up like Netflix or Amazon Prime? Apart from Game of Thrones and the sports, there isn't much that is bringing the buzz. I do not know if the question makes sense to you. Do you want me to repeat the question again?
No, I didn't get the question, but which has a different context altogether. And I don't think, if you were to ask me, Hotstar is lacking anything, because it has carved a niche in a different area altogether for itself. And I think it's growing pretty well. I mean, it's not even trying to compare itself with Hotstar, because it has a lot of other content to serve. You don't see sports on Netflix, you don't see sports on Amazon. So Hotstar is a big gainer over there. And if you were to look at the numbers that it gathers when it has sports events going on, is way too huge. I mean, say you could actually reverse the question and ask, what's Netflix lacking and what's Amazon lacking that Hotstar has? Yeah, I could really reverse the question altogether, kind of. So yeah, but all of these people are now, Netflix has reached a plateau, the point where it needs to start rethinking. Amazon has started a lot of rethinking on it. But as I said, most of them are still revolving under content related stuff. But if they are looking at future of consumption and getting all of it, they will have to think much beyond what they're thinking right now.
Awesome. I think you answered the question. I hope Anita got what she wanted. Well, there are more questions. Unfortunately,
I would really love. So I kept my question a little shorter because I did expect questions to come in.
We have our next session speakers lined up, but I will make it a point that I share the questions to you personally, so you could answer those questions and I could pass it on to our delegates.
Is there time to take 1 or 2 questions online, or are we too late?
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so
okay.
my apologies. But we could keep it offline and continue the interaction offline. But thank you very much, Shah, for the wonderful presentation. I know that you're doing a lot of innovation around your platform, and continue to a lot of innovations and stand as an example for the upcoming platforms in the country and overseas. And lovely having you. Pleasure as always. And thank you very much.